You're watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Our draft coverage continues with the last two picks for the Seattle Seahawks. They traded out of 102 with the Denver Broncos, moved down to 121 in addition to their pick at 118, and they end up with UTEP linebacker Tyrice Knight at 118, and then at 121 they go with Michigan tight end, the one and only A.J. Borner with that pick. We'll talk about Borner in a moment. Let's start with Tyrice Knight and the pick made by Seattle here. 6'1", 233 pounds. Tom Downey has him as the number 11 linebacker in this class, number 181 player overall. The grade that we had on him was about a fifth or sixth, so this might be a bit of a reach going with Tyrice Knight at this spot, especially when there was other linebackers like Jeremiah Trotter and Tommy Eichenberg on the board. But the Seahawks see something in Tyrice Knight, a very productive and impactful player at UTEP, led Conference USA in tackles with 140. Got very good instincts, both in the run and in the pass. Pretty reliable tackler. We mentioned the production he had in college. Had quite the impact as well. He holds up okay in coverage. And that's the thing. We've talked about this a lot when you look at the Seattle Seahawks, is that the emphasis has been on what they've invested, how they've reworked this linebacker room with Terrell Dodson and Jerome Baker and company, is coverage linebackers. A significant upgrade from what they've had in the past with Bobby Wagner as well as Jordan Brooks, who struggled in coverage this past season. So Tyrice Knight, that's going to be something that he's going to need to be coached up and take that next step on right away. But you can't deny what he did on the football field at UTEP this year. 140 tackles, that's a lot. And then the ability to get after the quarterback, too. This is a guy, folks, that had 4.5 sacks and 15.5 tackles for loss. So although he's playing off-ball linebacker, he still shows the ability to go be aggressive inside, to shoot the gaps well, and get to where he needs to go. 7 pass breakups on the year as well. A good but not great athlete that the Seahawks are getting here. Feels the game well. And that's what you're going to hear a lot when we talk about Knight here, is just the feel for the game that he has. And I'll say this before we get to Dane Brugler's evaluation of Tyrice Knight. Although it feels like a reach for Seattle to go with this pick in the 4th round, a guy that was graded, we mentioned, 5th/6th round grade. He did go to UTEP and played in a small conference in Conference USA where these players tend to get forgotten about, right? Where they aren't being looked at as much as your Power 5 guys. So credit to the Seahawks scouting department. They obviously see something in him, see some value to take him in this 4th round to feel like, hey, maybe he didn't go to the big-time school. Maybe he was just down the street from Juarez, Mexico, but we like what he brings to the table, what he has to offer, and the potential of what he could become. More from Dane Brugler of The Athletic, what he had to say, his evaluation. Knight has some coverage limitations, but he is a rabid dog against the run. He's got that dog in him. In run defense, we've talked a lot about the Seahawks need to improve that. That's a good sign right there. With the instincts and play personality that directly led to production, rosterable talent at the next level, and is looking to become UTEP's first defensive draft pick since 2008. And he was. He did accomplish that. So big deal for the University of Texas, El Paso there. You can see Brugler had about a 5th to 6th round grade on Tyrice Knight. So a bit of a reach, but I like the player. I just think that you probably could have waited and got him later as far as this goes when it comes to Tyrice Knight, of who the Seahawks are getting as far as that goes. What's your grade on the pick? I'm going to be honest, because it is a reach, and there's linebackers I liked more than Tyrice Knight that were available when the Seahawks picked. I'm going to go C on this pick. This is the first questionable pick by the Seahawks for me. I like what I've seen from Seattle a lot. These previous 2 picks with Christian Haynes as well as Byron Murphy. But this one is the one kind of head scratcher. But I can live with it. You took care of a position of need. My pick grade is C. Give me your grade in the comment section below. and let us know what you think of the move to go with Tyrice Knight with the pick. We'll talk about the Seahawks' next pick in just one moment. A.J. Barner, tight end from the University of Michigan. We'll give you a full breakdown and analysis on the selection. But first, before we do, want to make sure you guys are subscribed to Seahawks Today for the best Seahawks draft coverage you're going to find on YouTube. As we've been live for the fourth round, we were live on Thursday. We're breaking down every single pick as it happens here on the channel, and we're trying to push towards 52,000 subscribers. We're about 400 away from the next milestone. We are talking about your Seahawks like no one else is. If you are a true member of the 12s, you got to be subscribed. You ain't alive, you ain't subscribed to Seahawks Today. We got you covered, and we're not slowing down after the draft. We're talking UDFAs tomorrow. Rookie minicamp will be here soon. Minicamp, OTAs, all of that and more. Subscribe now. We got you covered here on Seahawks Today. All right. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the mighty. Seattle, they get a tight end. They needed a tight end. A.J. Barner, national champion from the University of Michigan Wolverines. I'm not quite as excited as Rich Eisen is about this pick. But let's tell you more about what A.J. Barner brings to the Seattle Seahawks. 22 years old, began his career with the University of Indiana. He was there from 2020 to 2022, played last season on the national champion Michigan Wolverines. Tom Downey has him as the number 11 tight end in this class and the number 212 overall prospect. So a bit of a reach for Seattle, but the scouting report says as follows. Athletic frame with room to continue growing into his body in the NFL. Excels at finding open zones and coverage. Unproven as a red zone threat after only 2 catches in that area last season. And with Colby Parkinson gone, we'll see what the Seahawks are going to do when it comes to a red zone tight end. You would think it's Noah Fant, but maybe they try to turn A.J. Barner potentially into that. With that size he brings at 6 foot 251, maybe they try to potentially turn him into that. He's a fantastic blocker, all right? And I know that doesn't make people excited, like, oh, a blocking tight end. But believe me, it's a plus for him. He plays very well to his strength. Tested pretty well for his size, a little better than expected. 4.8440, 34.5-inch vert, 909 broad jump, 4.41 shuttle, and a 7.02 three-cone, which I can live with. His stats, not great, if we're going to be honest with you, at Michigan this past season. He wasn't the best tight end on his own team. He was an all Big Ten honorable mention this past season with 22 catches, 249 yards, over 11 yards reception, and just 1 touchdown. So he's a bit of a project, but he looks the part. I get it. Looks can be deceiving at times, but he's got the blocking down. He looks like a quality tight end when it comes to just the measurables there. Now it's up to the Seahawks to kind of put it all together with this offense, which I think is going to use the tight end position more than we've seen previously. It was kind of ignored, right, in the Waldron-Carroll regime. Now with Scott Huff as your offensive line coach, he'll work with some. And then with Ryan Grubb calling the plays, it's going to be vital, I think, to try to get the most and try to use some 12 personnel with the Seahawks offense where we could see more A.J. Barner on the field with Noah Fant. The Athletic's Dane Brugler had this to say when it comes to A.J. Barner. Barner is lighter than ideal to be on an every down wide tight end and doesn't have the resume of a playmaking receiver, but he is a solid athlete with pass-catching upside and the play personality to handle run-blocking duties. So we mentioned the Seahawks with the question marks on the offensive line. There's some opportunities to bring A.J. Barner in, especially when it comes to run-blocking there. So there's the 2 picks for the Seattle Seahawks in round number 4. The best part about, I think, round 4 for Seattle is just the trade that went through. To get that trade with Denver, to move into the 5th round, to get that 6th round pick, to get rid of one of your 7th round picks. I like the trade the Seahawks made more than I do the picks they made here in the 4th round. Overall, I can live with what has gone on in the fourth round at this point. Now let's see what the Seahawks have in store for round number 5 ahead when they pick at 136. How would you grade the pick of A.J. Barner? A, B, C, D, or F? Let us know in the comment section below what you think of this pick. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today. We'll continue our coverage of the draft all weekend long. Subscribe now. Never miss a moment. Stay up to date with all the Seahawks picks. We got you covered, and we will see you next time here on Seahawks Today.